Digging out and waiting for the lights to come back on. The latest on the Northeast snowstorm and who's helping people recover. A family receives news no one ever wants to hear. An update on a missing pregnant woman we've been following.
He saved my life, but I couldn't return the favor.
A sad story of a hero who didn't make it out. A true man's best friend. And imagine waking up and seeing this out your window where this amazing yet strange sight happened. This ducky didn't get the girl, but this one got her man. How she joined the flock of online dating and was successful. Your independent news network starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Bickle. Welcome to INN News. At least 1 million people are still without power in the Northeast after last weekend's freak October snowstorm, and many are losing patience.
Frustration is mounting. I certainly understand it. Mine has been too, but we're working through all of the issues that lay before us, and we're still estimating, CL&P is that 99% of customers will have their power on Sunday.
Meanwhile, in East Hartford, Connecticut, they've brought in the big guns to help people deal with the aftermath of the storm. The National Guard is staged inside a baseball stadium, where lessons learned from Hurricane Irene are proving valuable.
We were out here for Irene a couple months ago, and being out here again is a little sooner than anybody really anticipated, but having done it so recently, I think we're in a good position to be very effective this time around.
The National Guard will operate 24/7 to hand out water, food, and help in other ways. But unlike the last time, they won't be camping out in the stadium since their families, too, are dealing with the aftermath of that storm. And last weekend's early snowfall did some serious damage at the New York Botanical Garden in the Bronx. Officials say the storm damaged about 4,500 trees. Many of those fallen branches crushed plants on the ground. Experts say the trees couldn't take the heavy, wet snow with their leaves still on. The garden's still open, but some areas are closed off for visitor safety. Well, we have a very sad update on a story we told you about a missing pregnant woman last week. 31-year-old Sherry Dawson from Auburn, Alabama went missing last month, and her loved ones heard the news they didn't want to hear. Christina Chambers from our affiliate WLTZ has the latest.
Well, Auburn Police Chief Tommy Dawson confirms that the remains found in Tallapoosa County last Tuesday are those of the missing pregnant woman from Auburn, 31-year-old Sherry Dawson. Now, Chief Dawson, along with Tallapoosa County Sheriff Jimmy Abbott and Chambers County Sheriff Sid Lockhart, say they received the forensic results late yesterday afternoon. Police say Dawson's boyfriend, 30-year-old Keith Ware, was arrested in Opelika today for the murder of Sherry Dawson and her unborn baby.
He was arrested today about 12:30 on a warrant signed in Tallapoosa County.
We're not going to go into the specifics of the evidence today. We do have evidence connecting him to the murder of Sherry Dawson.
Sherry Dawson was 5 months pregnant. She was last seen on October 8th. The very next day, her burned car was found in Chambers County off County Road 95.
Sheriff Abbott and Sheriff Lockhart and I, all three of us, spoke with the family today. As you can imagine, they took it very hard, as anyone would. That's why we put so much effort into the case and worked so hard, because we knew it was someone's child and someone's child who was carrying another child.
Chief Dawson says he cannot comment on a motive at this time.
It's an ongoing investigation. We're still working together, and will be for some time to come.
Ware is being charged with capital murder in Tallapoosa County because Chief Dawson says that's where they believe the murder happened. Ware is being held without bond in the Tallapoosa County Jail. Christina Chambers reporting for INN News.
More than 200 officers have searched for Dawson since her disappearance. The family is not ready to talk about the loss. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is heading back to Sweden. He had been fighting extradition. He wanted to stay in the United Kingdom, but a judge ruled today he can be returned to Sweden. Assange is wanted for questioning related to 2 alleged cases of sexual misconduct. It will take decades to clean up and decommission the 4 reactors at Japan's crippled Fukushima nuclear plant. That's according to a report by a Japanese commission. Removal of nuclear fuel will likely begin by the end of 2021. It will then take take more than 30 years after that to complete the job. Meltdowns occurred at 3 reactors in the wake of the devastating March 11th earthquake and tsunami. Paris police are investigating the apparent firebombing of the offices of a French satirical magazine just prior to its publication of an issue marking the Arab Spring. The cover appears to poke fun at Islamic law. No one was hurt in the blaze. An aid shipment bound for East Africa is to get a royal send-off. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, better known as William and Kate, watched a British Airways plane take off from Copenhagen. It's filled with 45 tons of aid, including much-needed food and medical supplies. The couple who got engaged in Kenya are said to be deeply moved by the worsening famine in that region. And that's your Global News Now. And in your Vote 2012, at long last, New Hampshire sets the first in the nation primary.
That the tradition of the New Hampshire presidential primary lives on, and it will be held on the second Tuesday, the 10th day of next year, 2012.
That new date is more than a month from the original date in mid-February. The primary calendar was thrown into flux when Florida moved its contest to January 31st, forcing 4 other states to change their dates. Well, a warning for those of you with parking tickets stuffed in your glove box. Ryan Bass has that and more as he gets back to business.
If you have a stash of unpaid parking and traffic tickets piling up, you may want to pay attention. Some cities are now turning over unpaid tickets to collection agencies. And if you don't respond to the debt collectors, your credit score could take a hike. That means it could be harder for you to get a mortgage or a car loan. It's all because a record number of tickets are going unpaid, and cash-strapped cities are fed up with waiting for violators to fork over the cash. Your cell phone companies know a lot about you, where you live, what you surf on the web, and even where you are. Now some companies are selling your personal information to the highest bidder. Verizon Wireless is the first mobile provider to publicly confirm it is actually selling its customers' information directly to businesses, but they're not alone. AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile also use your data to make extra cash. They say they don't actually hand the information over to third parties, but they do make money helping those vendors target you with ads. Now, it looks like Barnes & Noble could soon be unveiling a new tablet. The bookstore giant has invited media and publishing executives to a special event next week to introduce a new device.
The Wall Street Journal reports the new device is expected to be Barnes & Noble's answer to Amazon's new tablet, the Kindle Fire. For Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, you may want to hold on to those extra peanut butter cups left over from Halloween. Sharp increases in peanut butter prices are starting to hit store shelves following one of the worst peanut harvests in decades. Kraft raised its prices for Planters peanut butter by 40% this week. Peter Pan and Jif by 20%. Prices for a ton of peanuts hit nearly $1,200. Now that was this month compared to the $450 it cost just a year ago. Gainesville, Florida police say a driver's in the hospital after crashing into the front of the Walmart yesterday. Kimberly Howard from our affiliate GTN shows us the damage and tells us why this crash could have been a lot worse.
I was standing right over there, and I couldn't even tell what kind of car it was at first.
A scary situation for Walmart shoppers in Gainesville. Officials say a driver who was in his 60s plowed through the building's concrete storefront.
Yeah, we had a pretty good impact because of the dash, the way it was rolled over on him and the way his legs were pinned up underneath. We had to be pretty careful about not causing any further damage to him.
More than a dozen rescue workers had to cut open the man's PT Cruiser and pull him to safety.
Once he was out of the car, he was transported to the hospital conscious and breathing.
Nobody else was hurt, and shoppers say that's a miracle.
That's crazy. What if he just didn't stop and someone's car would have been there? You know, that would have been someone else's life possibly.
Now take a look behind me. You can see crews are still piecing together the evidence, trying to determine exactly what went wrong.
I think anytime a vehicle crashes into a building, it's unusual. We don't have that happen very often, but there are several reasons why it does happen, and you know, right now that's what we need to find out.
As police continue their investigation, shoppers say they hope drivers will take extra caution, particularly in a crowded parking lot. Kimberly Howard reporting for INN News.
Well, this may turn out to be one of the most disgusting things you have ever seen. And we're not even showing you all the video that we got. A snake swallowed a deer whole. This Burmese python was found in the Florida Everglades with an intact 76-pound deer inside of it. That snake is just under 16 feet long. Wildlife officials are worried because these pythons are upsetting the balance of nature in the area. Burmese pythons aren't native species and they don't have any true enemies. Pythons usually eat rodents, birds, or smaller snakes. Officials say snakes like this are likely pets. People sometimes let them loose, not expecting them to grow so big. Check out this video from San Diego. The driver of this car crashed into a fire hydrant and the auto was blasted 10 feet into the air by spraying water. They say the car may have been stolen. It happened early yesterday. Neighbors said they saw people running from that vehicle. Well, next, the dream of home ownership. It takes planning and saving. Erica Rodriguez is coming to the rescue for one young woman in the latest Super Steel's budget makeover. Plus, having extra money may help you sleep better at night. But what has so many people tossing and turning? And for those of you frustrated with online dating, hey, a duck can even do it. A story you'll want to stick around for. Coming up on INN.